Good morning. Almost on to day 4 of business mastery. So, what's the secret to happiness? I mean, when we break all this down, what is it that really makes somebody happy? Progress. If you really want to know what it is that really makes people feel satisfied, feel the most of themselves, to feel excited, to feel happy, it's progress. Grant Cardone did an interview with Glenn Stearns, the first undercover billionaire, and he was talking about Glenn was talking about, he told the whole story about how he started this finance company in California, which is an amazing story. And then he sold out at one time. And, of course, I'm in the middle of a Tony event, and Tony talks about this a lot, how he's got friends who periodically sell out and they go, kind of cruise around, but then they get back into the game because it's not about the money. It's about progress. It's about the growth. It's about the solving the problem. So Glenn talks about how he sold out of his business, rented a boat, and literally sailed all over the world. He spent 6 months with his family, sailing all over the world, saw the world, which he said was an extraordinary experience. He wouldn't trade that again in a minute. But when he got done with that, then he was like, now what? Now what do I do? And he started doing Undercover Billionaire. And I kind of ironically, the company that he had sold still had his name. Well, the people that took it over didn't do a good job of running it. And so it was going into bankruptcy, and it still had his name on it, which he tried to get the name off of it, but didn't work. So they actually did. There was actually an article in the Wall Street Journal about the guy doing Undercover Billionaire was filing for bankruptcy, and he had to call and tell him, that's not accurate, and they had to print an update to the article saying it wasn't him, it was just his company. So after he did Undercover Billionaire, he went and bought the building that still had his name on it out of the bankruptcy courts and bought a lot of the assets of this company and started over and actually moved back to California. He had left California at that point, and I think was living in Florida. He moved back to California. Grant Cardone got his start in California too. And went back into his old building and went back into his old office and started again, started from scratch, and started the company again. And, why? Well, because he wants to do it. He wants the challenge. When he went and did Undercover Billionaire, that was a challenge. And what's great about that is to get the team together and to break through and to do something that you're not sure that you can do. It certainly wasn't about the money, because he had all the money he needed at that point. The secret to happiness is progress. Problems are here to make us more of who we're supposed to be. They're here to make us better. They're here to make us stronger. We've talked about this before. What you want is a better quality of problem. Oh, I made too much money in 2021. Now I got to worry about taxes. That's a quality problem. So what is it that you want to do over the next week, over the next months? But as you do those things, remember, a lot of us, I think, kind of have this idea that, when I cross the goal line and spike the ball, then I'm going to be happy. And that's really not true. The people that think they cross the goal line and spike the ball tend to get back into the game because sitting around doing nothing doesn't make them happy. Happiness comes from progress. Happiness comes from growth. And it doesn't have to necessarily be in business. It's personal growth in any way. That can be in being a parent. That can be in your relationship with your significant other. That can be in a lot of ways. But understand that that's really the secret to happiness, is when you're expanding. When we're growing, we're happy. When we're contracting, we're dying. You're either growing or you're dying. It's one or the other. If you're trying to hang on to what you have, you're dying. You're either growing or you're dying. Business people get into trouble when they get conservative and try to hang on to what they have. That's when it's time for them to sell and get out. And the ones that get into that situation and don't sell and get out tend to be they tend to end up in bad shape. They tend to end up owing more money than what they could have gotten for the business. And at the end of the day, the secret to living, in my opinion, is giving, is what you can do for others. That's the great part about business, is because you create the jobs. It's because you can give the bonuses, give these opportunities, create something for somebody else. But at the end of the day, being able to do that in your life, being able to make a difference in other people's lives, that's the secret. That's the secret to life, in my opinion. That's why I do my job. That's why I do these Tony events. That's why I do all that other stuff, because I get to solve people's problems. So my offer for you today is, remember that the secret to happiness is growth. So those problems that are coming at you, they're there for a reason. They're there to make you more of who you are. And don't think that all of a sudden at the end you're going to spike the ball and be happy. That's not the way that it works. Instead, look for a better quality of problem. Too much money, quality problem. You got too much business, quality problem. Look for higher quality of problems. And what do you need to become in order to solve those problems? That's the secret to happiness. And the secret to living is giving. Have a great day, everybody. We're all in this together. Let's take care of each other.